and Redevelopment Authority meeting of Thursday, October 12th, 2023. It looks like we have a quorum, so we can proceed to the minutes of our last meeting, September 14th, 2023. Are there any comments or questions on those by anybody? Okay, then I think they're approved, and we can move on to the bills. Bills, John?
Bill summary here. We did have a facade improvement grant that we let out from a previous approval on 411 Vermillion Street. Some legal bills on there, landscaping bills, and then we had a conference expenditure here for the Minnesota Redevelopment Conference that we'll be going to next week. So that's what we've got for bills.
I'll stand for any questions or comments on bills. Anybody got a question or comment on the bills? Okay, I'll look for a motion to approve the bills.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Johnson. Moved by Commissioner Johnson, second by Commissioner Goldberg. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Moving on to the business portion of our meeting. This is the Resolution 2023-14 Facade Improvement Program Grant to 301 2nd Street East.
Thank you, Madam President. Commissioners, so we had another facade improvement program grant application for 301 2nd Street East, which is Hastings Family Service. This is actually for their 311 building right next to it. They're just looking to removing an existing wooden awning there and then repairing any surface damage to the underlying brick beneath it. The total eligible costs are $4,800 under the program. The grant awards based on a matching of 2-to-1 private to public. So they qualify for a maximum of $1,600. Looking for a motion to approve.
Any questions or comments? I have one question. How are we doing on our fund balance this year to date?
We are still sitting pretty well. I have not checked in a couple of weeks, but we are still at north of 50% funded towards it. So I've gotten a lot of requests and questions about it, but not as many applications right now. But we are still sitting well funded.
Okay, so we've moved to that portion where it could have been somebody who received a previous allocation are now eligible to apply again.
Yes.
And receive that.
Yes.
So there you go, people. You can come and we can fund some more improvements for you. Okay, thanks, Alex. Anybody else have any follow-up questions? Okay, I'm going to abstain because I'm a member of the Hastings Family Service Board and I also volunteer there. So I'm looking for a motion to approve Resolution 2023-14.
Motion to approve.
Commissioner Anderson? Second by Commissioner Fox. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that one carries. Reports.
Me again. What we wanted to do is just have a kind of quick update and discussion on a couple of the midterm kind of length projects that we're working on. One of which, number one on item A, is a downtown small area plan. So with the opening of the Confluence and Lake Isabel Flats, that's two major kind of bookend developments in the downtown area. And those are going to have major impacts to the kind of environment of downtown. For the past 20 years, the Heart of Hastings plan has been kind of the guiding plan for the area. And while it still has relevance today, we are looking to take that and update it. So staff right now plans to contract with a consulting firm to perform the small area plan, most likely within probably 2025. We want to give Lake Isabel Flats and the Confluence time to stabilize and see what kind of impacts that they do bring to downtown. And before we do engage with the full small area plan process, I'm going to be putting together a kind of business inventory list for downtown to get an in-depth just kind of understanding of what are the buildings, what are the, square footages, amenities of each building, and then who owns them, what businesses are in them, what types of businesses are in them, so that we can paint a accurate and up-to-date picture of what the kind of business ecosystem is for downtown. With having, more housing introduced, that may introduce different needs than are currently provided downtown, especially thinking, grocery, pharmacy, or more morning things for people heading out to work, like breakfast items, things like that. So this inventory will give us a good idea of what we have and maybe what gaps could be filled when other buildings may come vacant, or if there's, redevelopment opportunities. So that is kind of the downtown small area plan proposed project right now. And before I go on to the next one, are there any questions?
Okay, thank you, Alex.
Yeah. So then the next one we are looking at doing on the western side of the city, Highway 55 and kind of the Jacob area, right where the city limits are. John and I spoke with one of the property owners out there a few months back, and we're just inquiring, kind of what their plans were for their property. And the individual actually asked for more of a vision for the area from the city. So that's kind of what we're going to do. We are, again, going to look to contract out to do the full small area plan. But before that, to kind of get some of that groundwork, John and I have spoken with the Urban Land Institute, which is a nonprofit organization in the area, to see if we'd be a good candidate, or if that area would be a good candidate for the Navigating Your Competitive Future program, the NCF program. It provides a small SWOT analysis, strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, to give us an understanding of, again, what's in the area, and what might developers be looking to put in that area. So being able to feed that and mesh that with the needs of the city, putting that with the small area plan would just give us a really solid plan to point to for future developers and existing landowners to say, this is what the city's vision is, this is what the buy-in from the community is. Take these to the developers and say, if you want to build here, this is what we're looking for.
Yeah, so with that as well. So we're seeing private market demand in that area as we speak right now. With the council, we engaged with a consultant to determine sewer capacity rates on the south end of Highway 55, heading out from the west end of town towards Jacob Avenue. We're reviewing that information with the developer as we speak. There's interest in that on the south side. And then on the north side, Alex and I have been working with the property owner on there, on potentials there. We've had an area that on the north side has been primarily commercial, south side has been primarily residential, but an area that it seems to have some demand right now for growth, and really looking at a way that we could be proactive and guide the development of that area in the future.
Questions, comments? Is Jacob the dividing line for the city limits there on the north?
Not yet the dividing line. Essentially, the city limits of Hastings end at the development line, so where Alina Clinic is and just before the substation. But
On the north side?
right. On the northwest side of the city. Within our comprehensive plan document, which is a vision of where we want to grow and develop, we've identified our growth area going out to Jacob and a little bit past it.
Okay.
Our vision for that area has been that Jacob Avenue would one day serve as a collector road north-south, similar to like a General Sieben or a Pleasant Drive. So a little bit of coordination for all that development to come forward.
Yeah, so there'd be annexation when the development comes forward.
Right, annexation for the development and the determination of obligations for costs of utilities and infrastructure and that sort of thing. So there'll be a lot of wheels turning on that one, but demand seems to be, at least from the developer standpoint, desire to develop is strong there.
Question. John, has there been ever thought of maybe an additional industrial park just from a transportation standpoint, you're getting closer to, 52, and just wondering if we've put that into that plan.
We have looked at some industrial park locations out towards the west side. In the past, we had an area right now more designated on the 46 corridor. So we have some land within our comprehensive plan to go that direction at some point. But it's interesting with the industrial end of it, because oftentimes you see more of a mixture of these type of uses. If you had something that wasn't terribly high on a manufacturing standpoint, but provided some light manufacturing, that could work as a combination up there.
Thanks.
There's quite a bit of farmland for sale out that way right now. Does that play into the plans at all? And whose city limits is that area?
Yeah, when you look west of the city, it's all township area, which is unincorporated property. So cities within their growth plans can identify areas within townships for future growth and development. It's kind of land on the frontier, for lack of a better word. From our standpoint, we plan for the development of this area for future services, but we haven't been in the position of proactively encouraging the growth, going out and asking owners if they want to be annexed into the city and promoting the development in that way. It's a push-pull relationship, frankly, that we have within the township. I mean, the township has lands within that area, really leaving the decision to the owner as to what they want to do. If they're interested in development and they're within our growth plan, here's an opportunity for them to grow and develop.
So historically, we annex after we have somebody come forward. is
Right,
what I'm hearing.
generally-
We don't proactively annex to try to.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's a
okay.
fair statement there.
Okay.
When somebody comes forward and says, hey, we've got land over here that we're looking at, would this be something the city would entertain as an annexation? We'd look at our comprehensive plan, see if this is something that we can develop into. Do we have the utilities? Is there desire? So, yeah, annexation is a little bit different. When you look around a lot of our neighboring cities, most of our neighboring cities have defined boundaries, and they grow up to those boundaries, and then there's the next city. We don't have a city adjacent to us, so the area that we can grow in is not limited by that. So it's really more limited from a market demand standpoint, and a desire by the council to grow. I mean, is growth good? Is too much growth too much? Those type of questions.
Thank you. Any further questions on that? Thank you for the education.
Planning 101 tonight.
Always welcome.
Yeah. So I can go through a few updates here, new information. I guess the first one everyone kind of knows about, the Confluence is open. So that's great. I'm hopeful that we're working with the developer there to have an event for council and HEDRA members. I passed a list over to them yesterday on that one. I don't have a date for that one, but I think it's important to recognize past and present council contributions to this project and to stay with it for as long as it has. And also with the grants that were received for this project, be able to have an opportunity to thank the people that helped out to develop this property. So there'll be more to come on that one, which will be great. Vermilion Acres, the apartment project in County Road 47, I had the opportunity last week to tour the factory in which the modular units are being constructed. That was interesting. They have 100 people working up there. They got about half of our units constructed, sitting in the parking lot, polyed up, ready to go. And it was interesting to see everything being built along the line. Essentially, they'll come forward with a finished product, and by finished, countertops in, appliances in, put it onto a truck, ship it out to the site. When it's going to be shipped out to the site appears to be soon. They told me that beginning or mid-November, they will be starting to bring modulars out to the site. Be doing that between that period and January. As spring comes forward, do the finished siding on that one and do the parking lot improvements and potentially be open by spring. So that's the goal at this point. So we're hopeful that that'll follow through. And there's been limited activity on there. I've heard from a neighborhood source. So I keep him involved in that to what's going on. But we'll see more of that coming, which will be good. I don't have any updates on the Hastings Creamery. The fire is still under investigation. I'm not sure what might happen on that one. I'm assuming it might be a longer process. In the interim, I'm looking at being able to get in there and to clear the debris from that site as soon as we can. So I spoke to the fire chief earlier this week, and we've been in communication with him as to when we can get that part cleaned up. Earlier this year, we had an approval to sell land within the industrial park for Greg Lowe for an auto repair garage. He's bringing forward his applications and plans to build that. It's going to Planning Commission next Monday, and then to City Council, I think, in November. So he'll be all set to close on the property by the end of the year. Our industrial park ag lease, this might be news to some individuals, but the vacant land that we have within the industrial park, we have usually a 2-year lease for that land to agricultural providers to plant, so that we get a little bit of income off it, and then we've got some control of the land itself, so it's got some stability with the soils. So that's out for bid right now, and we'll have that going to council in November. We have a project from Dakota County Solar, which is happening. They're putting some solar panels on their site on ground. There's a variance involved in this that's going to go to council next week on that, but I think they're planned construction in the spring on that project. The Sweet Living project, which is a 32-unit senior housing project next to the current 33 on 33rd Street, New Colburns. They recorded the plat. They're going through plan review right now. I don't know if they're going to try to break ground yet this year, but things are moving for early next year, if not this year. We have a conclusion of South Oaks 4th Edition coming to council on Monday night. This is for 35 units on the south end of town. There's been a lot of discussions we've had with the developer on this property over the years, and it looks like we've come up with a workable solution. So we're looking forward to more lots coming online there. The second building for that current 33 apartment project is broken ground now. The first building should be complete in the next couple of months, so that project's moving along great. Hastings Theater, they're converting it into a number of different units for rent, things for office warehouse, things for potentially a restaurant. I think there was some sort of athletic facility, batting cages within there, kind of a hodgepodge of things. So we'll wait and see how that all comes up. And as you go down County Road 54, the big refrigerated rink for United Heroes League, the parking lot's in there right now. So that project's moving along as well. So that's what I have for updates tonight.
Do you have a question? Commissioner
John,
Campbell?
on the industrial park lease, is it set up so we can break it if we would get that without any problem?
Absolutely, yes. There's a clause
That was,
within.
I wanted to make sure you said that.
Yep. There's a clause within the lease that states that if we sell the land, they have a limited opportunity to harvest what they have, but if they can't, they're out. So that's built into the bid.
Very good. And the Vermilion Acres, I, again, was by there this afternoon, and I saw they were out there making survey checks across the flat area and a bunch of other things. So there is some activity there going on, I saw.
Yeah.
That is, I appreciate that update, because that is the one thing I'm hearing, what's going on with it. And there's been a lot of, rumors or whatever.
There has been, yeah.
So I think that's good that we made that clarification that is proceeding.
It is.
It will be soon. And
I had a meeting with the property developers, the modular people, about 2 weeks ago, because we got to sit down here because there's rumors floating around town of your demise. I said we got to figure out what's going on with the schedule here, and they were responsive to that. And then they offered the tour of the factory, which was good to see. And so we're working on the logistics of inspection on this one, so this will be good.
any other questions on that? All right. With that, I'll stand for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Pemble. Second. Second by Commissioner Fox. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. We are adjourned at 6:20.